going on, guys? Here today with another project. I guess that's been the last couple videos, but my dad and I have a lot of projects, a lot of interest, so this is a 1974 Nova. We call it the spray can. The reason we call it the spray can is because it was rattle can painted. Obviously the 74 has the different quarter window. We have a fiberglass front end for the car, which is a 68 to 72. So that's a little, for the Nova purists, sorry. So, points of interest on this car. It's a 4-link in the rear. The 4-link bars come in inside of the cabin. Obviously they're closed out because NHRA. It's pretty much a full-on race car, you know, racing seat and real lightweight steering column. We previously had nitrous on the car, so that's all the relays and such. I did all the wiring on that. It's currently running a micro squirt, but plans are to go to a gold box because we'd like to take advantage of the traction control feature. It's a 5.3 liter, all aluminum. I believe it's an LH6, so it had active fuel management. It did not have VVT. You'll notice the elephant in the room, a CTSV LSA supercharger. We're going to give it a shot on this one. We actually have a 6 liter that we'd like to throw in the car eventually. It's running the CTSV accessories. Obviously we're missing a tensioner here, but it's kind of interesting how much belt wrap the stock system gets on the supercharger. And the crank pulley, it's a G Plus 92mm throttle body. Fits the stock hull, obviously. And what we're going to try is we're going to try running the car without an intercooler. So you'll notice the nice diamond plate, block-off plate, just some metal we had laying around. So that was previously the coolant coolant passages for the intercooler to pass through. So we're just literally not running the stock cooler. So the reason that we're doing that is less weight. This car weighed with the nitrous combo, it weighed just around 2,600 pounds with driver. And so any weight we can keep out of it. Obviously an ice tank would be biased towards the rear. So yeah, you can still see the nitrous bottle there. So it would be weight in the right place, but it's just added complexity. So we're actually talking about using nitrous as our intercooler. So we still have the nitrous line here, and stick a fogger right about there and see how it works. The reasoning, another thing I should mention, the stock intercooler only leaves like that much room for the air to be redirected and down into the intake ports. So it's awfully restrictive. That's the one difference between a ZL1 lid and a CTSV lid. this is a CTSV lid. The ZL1 lid is taller, so it leaves a little more room for the air to be redirected. So they actually make spacers for this, but regardless, that's going to create an awful lot of restriction. So the other thing is there's tons of guys running around with roots blowers, you know, like a 671 or, you know, a bigger thing. I don't know all the numbers. But there's tons of guys running around with those on the street, and they don't seem to have any issues. Lots of guys racing them. So if they're okay, you know, this is a screw blower, and they're far more efficient than the roots type blowers. So we're just going to kind of see how it works. And I know there's a lot of guys who are interested in that kind of thing. There doesn't seem to be any data. And there also doesn't seem to be any like all-out LSA supercharger cars out there, you know, all-out race cars. So this car will be Ace Mile raced, so the instant throttle response of the blower is ideal, and then the added nitrous is even better. Now it's no prep, so we got to be able to manage that power. And what I'm hoping we can do is use the nitrous as our power management and just bring that in at a different stage or that sort of thing. I mean, yeah, you can play with ignition timing and that kind of thing, but I think the nitrous, just turning the nitrous off or progressing it, is a far better method of control. It doesn't create as much heat. But the nice thing is it's a blower, so you're not going to suddenly make more boost when you kill your timing, kind of like what Matt was talking about on one of his videos. But that's the points of interest. So it's a LS9 cam, so it's not really the most aggressive thing. They're blue, I think blue or yellow valve springs, LS6 valve springs. It's a Camaro oil pan, and you'll notice there's some welding on there. These are kind of a mid-sump oil pan. The pickup sits about here, and we moved the pickup back here, and then made a baffle around here, and there's a little trap door and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of welding on that, and just trying to make it so because this came up like that, and trying to get the sump so it's actually in the rear. It's a nice high volume oil pan. So just trying to get as much volume as possible. But this is pretty much an all-out race car. I haven't tested it yet, so kind of wanted to show it off to you guys. We'd kind of like to get it on the Sloppy Mechanics dyno at some point, and just, you know, see if you can run these things without an intercooler, and how effectively, and play around with nitrous and that sort of thing, if we can. Another thing I wanted to look at, so there's a little trap door basically in here. You can see the shaft if you rotate this guy. So this is the bypass valve. So instead of having a blow-off valve, what these do is the outlet of the supercharger's up here, and then there's a valve that comes through here, literally right here, and then it basically just bypasses, it creates a big loop and bypasses the supercharger. So it effectively acts like a blow-off valve. And what I'm wondering is, can you use this valve as another form of traction control? It's something you can't do as well with a, well, I guess you could just vent to atmosphere with a, like a centrifugal supercharger. But yeah, so we're going to play around with this, and I hope you guys are interested. It's kind of a neat project. Obviously, we have a few things to button up, but it's going to be a neat project. So wish us luck. Catch you guys in the next one.